Hi, guys, and welcome to this episode of Brewing E-commerce. And today I have somebody from the country that I really adore and love, and I've spent a lot of time in. David, thank you so much for joining us today. And just for the interest of everybody, I'd like you to kind of introduce yourself, to start with, and then I'm going to follow up on why I invited you on the podcast.
Okay, sure. Thank you. Thanks for having me. My name is David. I'm the founder of Sounds Good Agency. I'm not sure which country you're referring to because I'm Portuguese. I'm Portuguese from Portugal, from the north, but I'm living in Czech Republic.
Yeah, and I
So
meant Czech
I don't know
Republic.
which one.
Czech Republic. Portugal is very nice, but Czech Republic is really I think far more better in that way.
Really? We don't have the ocean here, which I miss a lot, of course.
Which is true. Great. So now I want to start by telling you guys that there are a lot of people I follow, a lot of people that I look at the content, etc. And I've seen David talking about his agency and how they work with the Shopify customers very, very in a plain and simple language and also straight to the point. And there was some really exciting news about David's company joining a much bigger one, etc., which we're going to talk about it later, which is a big question for a lot of agency guys as to how the future is it always going to be servicing the Shopify customers, etc. But again, David and his work kind of proves that there's not just only one way, and there are so many other ways to find synergies with larger brands and larger
Mhm.
companies. So we're going to dive there later, David. But just to kickstart, uh, you said that you were in Portugal. Now you're in Czech Republic. How has been your journey, and how did you land yourself in e-commerce?
Mhm. So my journey actually started here in Czech Republic because when I came from Portugal, I was completely disconnected from the e-commerce or digital world. When I arrived here, I had the luck of getting some friends that were on the agency business, doing design, front end, not mainly on the e-commerce side, but for startups and stuff like that. And eventually I started working with them when they started doing e-commerce specific projects. And we showed Shopify as like the way to go. Even if at the time, 8 years ago in Europe, it was quite um, not much popular, not as much as it is today, of course.
Yeah.
But we saw the potential, we saw that technologically it made sense. And my first year as a Shopify expert back in the day was basically just responding to leads coming our way, trying to figure out how to help them. And at the same time, we actually started and ran for 1 or 2 years, two small brands of ours,
Hmm.
based on which I was able to learn like what are the pain points,
Exactly.
how can we adapt Shopify to the European market, etc. So that was like my very hard throwing myself to the pool type of training.
Okay. Okay. I've heard this very commonly that a lot of agency owners today were brand owners at some point of time. And I've also tried to heard a lot the vice versa thing kind of thing. A lot of agency guys became brand owners, which I think is very nice because when you are on the other side, you understand the problems,
Yeah.
and then you try to find solutions too. I want to go back to what you said, David. Is back in the day, maybe 7 8 years back, right when you started this entire thing was trying to get customers on Shopify very different to what it is today? Were the
Yeah.
needs very different?
It's completely different,
Okay.
not just because we are now targeting a different type of clients, back in the day, we were happy for any gig coming our way. First time I sold some service for, I don't know, 300 quid, I was like over the moon.
I
And
know.
now I wouldn't get out of the bed for 300 quid. So it's like, it's completely different market targeting that we're doing, different audience. But at the time, we were smart enough to get certified Shopify experts, which
Hmm.
was a much smaller pool than it is today. And we were even ranking as like one of the top 5 London agencies because we were listed in London and we were traveling there a lot because that was where Shopify was the strongest in Europe. So we
Yes.
were getting just leads from Shopify, I don't know, 5 to 10 leads per day from Shopify, no marketing work from our side at all. So there was always stuff to do. Eventually, when Shopify changed for the first time their marketplace and they started introducing services, etc., our numbers went down a lot, and
Hmm.
we didn't suffer much from it because we've been building our reputation. We already had a lot of referrals. We already had some presence and within our market, so people knew what we were doing. So we were starting getting like different sales channels, which drove us now to where we are today, where we actually like get approached by companies, or we even approach companies directly when they see that Shopify could be a fit. And we go into these tender offer proposals and all these type of things that are like much more complex. And we may take like some projects 6 months to 2 years to close a deal, because they are in a completely different level. So
Indeed.
it's a different league, it's a different ballgame.
Indeed. And the complexities have changed in the market. And the customer needs, customer journeys, and brands. There's just so much stuff, and I know also the agencies have grown a lot, right? So for to get one single client now, there are at least 10 agencies behind,
Yeah.
especially on the Shopify Advanced and Shopify Plus side of things. Um, Tell me this. This is a very interesting question at the right time. Um, Past couple of days, my LinkedIn and Twitter feeds is kind of full of the outage that we recently saw on Shopify, right? And I'm sure there's like two sides of the world. One of them will say that what the heck happened, and this and that, and the other will still say that oh, fine, these things happen, and it's still Shopify, right?
Yeah.
So where do you see yourself there? Does it bring any questions, or how does it go, David?
There is only one thing I can say about it, which is it's all Taylor Swift's fault. I don't care what is the real answer, but that's the funnest answer internet has given us, so I'll stick by it. It's all Taylor Swift's fault. And no
Oh my,
Swifties.
this is amazing.
No,
Yeah,
no, no, no. But
when she,
really,
yeah.
yeah, go on.
No, no, please.
So basically, I see it like this. Definitely, like shit happens, that's basic reality. SaaS products always will have this like 0.01% of downtime. I think Shopify still has 13 minutes in their pocket they can waste, hopefully not during the Black Friday problems. The best analysis I've saw of this was Rick Watson's. Like, I don't know if you've been following him, is
Rick Watson, yeah,
absolutely amazing, and
yeah,
he's always super insightful. And basically, I'll take it as a wake up call for Shopify to know where their priorities lie,
yeah,
especially while they are trying to target the enterprise market. Because it's not enough just to say it's 99.99% like
yeah,
up all the time. We actually need more data, we need warranties. And what I've seen some enterprise clients wanting to have in the future is even some kickback, some guarantees that if something goes wrong, we are going to get some money back, which I think it's what Shopify plans to have within the e-commerce components, uh,
sure.
where commerce components where they're going to offer, including some SLX for the first time.
Hmm.
So I think they are aware of it, and definitely this painful 40 minutes of like downtime is something that like as the leadership talking internally for sure.
Yeah, yeah. I like the earlier answer better, David. When Taylor Swift can add to the GDP and create an earthquake, I think Shopify 14 minutes downtime is still a small thing to do, so it's all right.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Of course, in the end of the day, if you think, I don't know, of local European companies that are like doing millions and millions per year. They don't care what happens because of Taylor. They understand it maybe, but they can get nervous, especially if they switch to Shopify not long ago
Yeah,
or if they are considering.
yeah,
But overall, if they've been in the business for some time, they know that they could be like days out with a
yeah,
different solution.
yeah. Absolutely, absolutely. Great. Now the hot topic is Black Friday, right? Everybody has been prepping that for the months now. It's that time of the year that everybody is waiting for. It's like absolutely like Christmas for the whole shopping guys. I want your take on discounting. Okay? There is a lot of new thought process which is coming, saying, you know what, don't discount a lot. Make sure of your margins and stuff like that. What are your top tips to the brands when it comes to Black Friday strategy that they might be, preparing and going to execute soon?
So that's what I call a loaded question, you know. So
Yeah,
many
yeah,
things to
take your
pick
time.
up
Go
from
for
there,
it.
you know.
Go for
So
it.
many things to pick up from there. So if I would have to go for the tips, I would say the two things I would say.
Mm,
One, think very well about your business model, your business plan, and your margins, so we know what you can afford to give away.
mm,
That's like in one sentence what you need to do so you can prepare your offers. And
mm,
second, communication, communication, communication. I don't
mm.
care if it is email, SMS, push
Yeah,
notification, smoke signals, but
yeah,
communicate with your audience. The audience that you've been building for the last 12 months, now it's time to leverage it.
yeah. Well, very, very helpful. It is loaded, but you summarize it very nicely in terms of those bullets, right? That you need to kind of take care of. Um, I completely agree, because I was reading a report which said that different channels is where customer discovers a deal, which can be social media, can be email, can be again different push, can be affiliates and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So understand what channel works for you and then try and spend money accordingly. Don't just go
Yeah,
one or two channels. And second is, even as a solution of what we do, and everybody that's talking is, don't give discounts to everybody. Don't
yeah,
just give the same number to everybody. Do it on intent. Do it based on, are they purchasers. Because again, 90% of these guys who are coming to buy will never come back to your store again.
yeah, yeah. This is something that the guys that do subscriptions generally know very well. They do this cohort or this group analysis, and they see how much percentage of their clients just buy once, twice, three. How long does it take for them to start churning? You know? So
Yeah.
based on that, they have usually very good analysis of what discounts to offer when.
Yeah.
So they maybe know that after the fourth payment of a subscription, they know that most probably they're going to drop, so they make a preemptive offer, you know. But they don't do
Mm.
that offer too early or too late because they know it's going to be a waste of money. You know, it's also about this. We've been listening a lot about loyalty programs for
Yeah.
the last, I don't know, 3, 5 years. It's been all the thing everybody's speaking about. But
Yeah.
how to properly make a loyalty program so that you don't like give away your margin for people to buy from you anyway, you know?
Yes.
And this is something that I think it's still in the very early stages in terms of analysis. I think it requires some proper data analysis
Mm.
to know what to offer to the right client. And last thing that I would say even on this, especially during this current economic crisis where people are really trying to like save their EBITDA, there is no cheap money to fund their ventures. People are even considering investing on the creation of mobile apps and so on for their solutions, just so they don't get on the risk that loyal clients will click on their paid ads.
Mm.
You
Mm.
know, because the loyal clients often are also even are like not so cheap for you because they are
Okay.
still clicking on the first paid result on Google, and you're not leveraging the fact they already have a relationship with them.
Okay. No, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's completely fair, and it requires that shift in the mindset to kind of do this. Be very data driven, and once you start doing that, then I think the results start showing in a while. It's not like magic wand, but I know kind of where you're coming from. But on the last part you said, attribution is again a big puzzle. Everybody talks about it. There are those expensive triple whales people use, and there are some people who kind of don't care about it, saying, "Okay, I'm getting the revenue, whatever." Right? What's your take on attribution, David, and what is your best approach or strategy to measure this?
Mhm. Yeah, I'm definitely not an attribution expert at all. That's like, I'll take it like a SEO. It's like a minefield with many different like opinions and approaches. But what I would say is that what we did 2 years ago for attribution will not work in 6 months, 1 year. You know, if you think about marketing, what's been happening for the last 50 years, we went from like a very broad approach to it, shouting
Mm,
to the world, radio, uh, print, press, etc. And hopefully somebody from our target audience will check it, will see it.
mm,
We
mm,
went then to ultra personalized advertising, which now
mm,
is becoming harder and harder to do through all the privacy policies that are coming into place, etc. And we are going back to what, for example, Gary Vee says a lot, building the brand, shout out from everywhere you can your message, but in a much more cost efficient way because you can do it on the digital market, not only on paid traditional media. But there will be the same way that there is like being a consolidation of commerce around this terminology of omnichannel. There will happen the same on marketing. That will not be as relevant if the purchase was completed on Facebook or because of a SEO result for some blog or because of a TV campaign that you launched, but you have to check it from a much more holistic perspective and make sure that all these touch points cooperate between each other
yeah,
in the most in the most efficient manner, so they don't take so they don't overlap too much, so you don't advertise too much to the same person that already bought into your brand. So
yeah,
this is going to be more than attribution in the future. It's going to be a more like, how can we be in every single place we can and have the touch point being as relevant as possible to put the person forward in the funnel. And then I don't care, even if they buy my product in a local drugstore. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that's fair. Somebody was just telling, I read an article yesterday. They said, stop just looking at the last touch attribution.
Yeah,
Okay, because there's just so much happening behind to kind of bring in that, and then there are retargeting, and the person's kind of coming back based on organic sources, etc. Trying to just measure that one piece of that tick kind of doesn't do justice, and you're right, because in my opinion, now after COVID scenario has gone away,
yeah,
now there is no more just direct to consumer. It's going to be more like an omni channel thing again, right? The retail guys are going to be online guys are going to be retail, because you want to be present anywhere where your customer is. So
correct.
the yeah, so the thing can come from anywhere. Okay. Okay.
100%.
Right. So tell me this, David, that you built number of Shopify stores for many brands, and you've been doing it for so many years, right? What would be the top three or five, um, I would say, suggestions where you think brands get it wrong? Their thought process to needs to change. It'll be great to hear your tips on that.
Okay. So I've been thinking about this recently, so that's actually a good opportunity to speak about it. Problem number one, problem number one, they don't think long term enough.
Hmm. Nice. Yeah.
This means that they are worried what's going to cost them for the next 6 months, two
Hmm.
years,
Hmm.
but they don't think about total cost of ownership for the next 10 years.
Hmm.
And I can go deeper into that later, but
Sure.
next thing is they don't think enough about the processes. They don't think enough about how their operations are going to look like. They
Hmm.
focus a lot on design, conversion rate optimization, marketing, which is awesome, but they don't put the time to figure out how the systems are going to communicate between each other.
Hmm.
So a lot of agencies out there are not even able to offer proper backend services because the clients are not requiring them, but they
Hmm.
are super essential once you
Hmm.
want to like scale your business.
Hmm.
And third, And the last one that I would say is that people, businesses, this is not just for e-commerce everywhere, struggle a lot with understanding the importance of MVP. MVP doesn't mean that like you're going to have a terrible store, but it means that it's the fastest way for you to get proper solution that will allow you to like generate sales and allow you to give a good fundamental starting point to build upon it and make it better and better. And because of that, we see brands and we have clients like that even that consciously spend 1.5 years, spend tens and thousands of dollars to make the perfect solution, while they could have been like within 6 months already making interesting revenue with a much smaller MVP. They seek for perfection. This perfectionism that a lot of these founders have
Real.
are
Yeah.
killing their profits.
That's a super important tip. A gold nugget for anybody who's starting a brand or anybody who's starting a store. Perfection takes time, and in fact, where I come from, David, here to echo your thoughts is there's nothing perfect in the world.
Yeah.
You can always improve, but the idea is to just go out there and test it out, improve, and improvement has to be every single day. Otherwise,
Yeah.
it doesn't work.
Right.
That's super. Um, so now a brand has come in and created a good store. They have a good product. How much importance do you still think people give to CRO and conversion optimization today? Or do you still think most of them are very skewed around acquisition and performance marketing?
Yeah, it really depends on the clients, right? Because if we see, yesterday I was speaking with some guys that they are selling weaponry online, and they got some awards here in our local market as like an interesting project. If you are in that market, you cannot do performance marketing, because
Yeah,
you cannot run ads that easily.
yeah,
So it really depends. Each business will focus automatically different things. I see some businesses that actually focus on logistics because the smallest improvement in logistics, we actually like make them the most amount of money in the
absolutely.
medium, long term, etc.
Yeah,
But yes, CRO is always there. Often I see people thinking about it as something they feel like they should do, but they don't know how to approach it. So they just like play and try around, just throw shit at the wall, see what
yeah,
sticks.
yeah.
And then I see other trend of people over committed to like make conversion rate optimization the number one goal of their daily list,
Mm,
while they could much more easily with less effort increase their average order value and
mm,
bring in much more business for themselves. Because there is a moment where like investing further on the conversion rate optimization will take a lot of energy to bring very little results. And there are other points of optimization for the business that are easier to achieve and can bring in more results. Nevertheless, the more you grow, the more important CRO is. When you get to the moment you are making like the real millions, every 0.01% makes a huge difference to your bottom line.
exactly. Yeah, very, very interesting point that you said that people don't really think of the average order value a lot of times, and doing that is a very different part, a very niche rather than just a whole CRO approach. So yeah, that's pretty interesting.
Yeah,
Uh,
they're quite complementary and opposite,
exactly,
because the
exactly.
more the order value would go up, the conversion rate usually goes down.
Yeah,
But if you make the math right, you actually like are making more money.
no, absolutely, absolutely. That's super. That's really interesting. Now tell me this, David. Do you agree with this statement? 97% visitors coming to your website are not ready to buy.
Not sure if that's the right specific number for everybody, but generally speaking, that's correct.
That's correct. Okay. Um, and if they are not ready to buy, how would you engage with them? How would you talk to them? What would you do to them? Because the most annoying thing that I see in today's e-commerce world is there's somebody who lands on your page, and the source of traffic can be meta or can be organic, and you get the same piece of pop-up, or you get the same piece of content saying, you know what, assuming that this guy already knows what I do, what I sell, what my SKU pricing is, and what that 20% means.
Yeah. Like for a long time, we haven't had a great answer for that. Like we've been treating all the traffic the same way and hoping that they'll just sign up to the same funnel so we can nurture them in the future, etc. Uh, Maybe it will be even harder with the like of cookies in the future.
Yeah,
But at the same time, with new tools like AI coming in our help and
yeah,
shopping assistance, we actually might have the best answer, which is a shopping assistant. The same way when you go to buy some boots or some clothes and you're just shopping around, at the right timing, some nice lady would come to you and say, "Oh, can I help you with something?" You know, and she'll be smiling, like, and welcoming. Maybe you'll just chat a little bit about the weather, build a relationship, and say, "Okay, see you next time. Oh, by the way, I have your discount if you'd like, or if you want to go to the other store. Or actually, I don't have that product here, but check my partners out there. They have a nice product as well."
yeah. Mm.
Build a relationship, speak with them in the right way, in the right time, and make sure that you are just not screaming at them all the time. Buy
Yeah,
from me, buy from me, buy from me.
yeah, yeah. Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Absolutely. And I think the whole the dawn of AI kind of helps because no two customer journeys are alike, and segmentation, etc., works on historical data. But in e-commerce, we know more than 80% visitors coming are first time visitors, right? They might not even come back to you. You will show them something amazing which will annoy them, and then that's it, gone. So understanding where are they in the journey, do they really know your product, do they, or they are returning visitors, etc., that will be the game changer. And that's how it is. But leading to that question, with AI becoming more and more popular and becoming more, I would say, democratized,
Mhm.
is the right word. Where do you think AI will have the maximum impact in e-commerce, David?
Thinking about it, because there are two fronts.
Mm-hmm.
One is like speed to delivery. So from the merchant side, you'll be able to do things, produce things, uh, generate results, get store up and running, like create connections between different systems much faster. So if before you needed 2 months to finish a specific project, if you use AI correctly, if you're deploying the right tools, you may do it in like 3 weeks. So that's a huge improvement on the efficiency of the teams working with the merchant in general. So that's a huge plus. And the quality will be higher as well. From the merchants, from the consumer's perspective, we haven't seen yet what exactly is going to happen. There are many ideas of how checks could help, how the shopping assistant can be crucial, but I think we are still too early stage to know how people are going to react to it. Because in our bubble, we are all using ChatGPT at least 20, 50 times per day, but
Yeah,
the huge majority of the population still doesn't know what ChatGPT is.
of course, of course.
So if they
Yeah,
get a ChatGPT like assistant on some website they are visiting, we still don't know if they will find it creepy, if they will find
yeah,
it scary, or if they will just find like, okay, I don't want anybody to speak with me. I'm just browsing. Let me browse
yeah.
with this. So
Mm.
I'm not sure. Like from the merchant side, I see the huge impact that is happening already, but outside this bubble, as a consumer, I think it will take some time, education, before we see it really speeding up. And
Okay.
maybe it will speed up the best, not as AI implemented in the stores, but
Yeah,
with AI implemented in different platforms. So
yeah,
I'm on TikTok,
yeah.
and their AI will know what I want.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, so it's the use cases that will get refined at the end,
Yeah,
and I think again all the processes and performances will be farly improved, and yeah, it'll not be AI directly, but what it delivers. Yeah, very nice, very nice. I like what you're saying. Now I want to understand from you, David. There was a big news about your agency,
that's
a
right.
lot of cool things happening, and I've gone and read your entire Medium article, which was, I think, a really good one, because it brings about a lot of thoughts and a lot of things which goes through the entire journey. I'd like you to quickly share with everybody, a summary of that article and how
Sure.
the whole thing went about, please.
Sure. So the big news is that uh, an agency here in Czech Republic, which is 10 times bigger than ours, acquired us, or better said, we merged.
Wow.
Um, and this whole process took only 5 months, which is like quite fast.
In
So we've met on some e-commerce event like 6 months ago now at this point, and it was the first time we went for a coffee, and we saw synergies potentially, partnerships.
Yeah,
I don't know, the culture values seem quite cool, quite aligned. And
yeah.
eventually we went a step further. We said like, let's do actually some work together.
Mm,
And because they're already interested on stepping into the Shopify world, at
sure.
the same time, we have the know-how that they don't have. They have other type of know-how we don't, and they have much more resources. So it just was win-wins all around. And the more we were going deeper into the process, the more we were seeing the advantages. Of course, it was not easy. It's not ever easy to
Yeah,
negotiate such a transition. But as long as everybody is open and the
yeah,
culture is aligned and the vision is aligned, it
yeah,
gets easy, super easy, very fast because you can actually say what you have in mind directly. You're not playing like 3D chess here. We're talking
mm,
like with a friend and see if we can go together to the same place we want to go. And that's like it's actually beautiful. Like you don't use the word beautiful in business context, but when you
yeah.
find the right people, it's like it's just an awesome relationship.
It takes.
And we are looking forward to see how this is going to grow.
Excellent. This is very promising, and again, brings about a huge thing in the industry, that there are always going to be people whom you can find synergies with and
Yeah,
partner and deliver something better, rather than just going on with things. So there are so many ways for this to culminate. Yeah,
exactly. Even because like especially in the Shopify community and especially in the e-commerce and digital marketing community,
yeah,
it's a very young industry.
yeah,
People, generally speaking, aren't assholes. Some
yeah.
are, some will be, but generally speaking, you can be friendly and open and honest, and people are willing to help each other.
Super. I think the friendly, openly honest part is wonderful. I recently spoke to somebody who creates Shopify websites in the US, and his agency had created more than 300 Shopify stores.
Yeah,
Right? And the guy just said at the end of it that when somebody comes to me, I get the business or not, but I just try to go and give them tips, because at the end we are there to help you grow. You
yeah,
can grow with us or without us. That's a different story.
exactly.
So I love listening to exactly the same thought process, from you as well. So David, that's very impressive. I love chatting with you. A lot of good things coming out, but just the interest of time. My last question and the most difficult one, David, is you have to tell us something that you have never told anyone about yourself.
That I've never told anyone online, or that I've never told
Online has to
anyone
be
ever.
some, yeah, has to be some fun stuff, or some cool thing that happened, or something, just to share with us, please.
Oh boy, oh boy. Um, okay, I think what I can say that I haven't. Okay, I'll tell this. I think I never said this into the internet.
Cool.
I am an introvert that painfully struggles to communicate with the world.
Are you serious, David?
Yeah,
I would never believe you on this.
yeah. I for a long time I thought, am I introvert, extrovert? Because I see pros and cons in like different aspects of me. I
Yeah.
realized that I was a real introvert first time that I rent an office for myself. a
Okay.
small office, and I said, "Oh, this is the nightmare of most people, being stuck in an office, four small walls around you. And for me, it was heaven. Nobody bothering me, alone, doing my work and going smoothly, you know? And I realized that being alone gives me energy. Being with people like drains me, even if I can enjoy it, but drains. That's the definition of introvert, being introvert. So definitely yes. For me, it's more like a muscle that I've trained and I'm training, but I've had to start pushing myself to communicate. It doesn't come naturally at all.
And I have to say this, that you're doing an excellent job at it.
I
Yeah.
appreciate you, man. Appreciate
Yeah,
you.
no, because when you talk, firstly, I think it's all your work and experience that speaks for itself, right? And I firmly believe the confidence comes from there.
Yeah,
So I can see that, and once you put that together with all your learnings and all the efforts that you're making, this conversation was like amazingly smooth, right? You don't have
I'm
to
glad to hear
pause
that.
that, and then yeah, that's what we are here for. Amazing learning, sharing from all the some experts like you that I know. And thank you so much, David. It was a great chat, and looking forward to having you again on Brewing E-commerce soon.
100%. Thank you so much, man.